Thanksgiving is just days away. Many of you may already have your dinner menu ready and family recipes on hand to make your traditional turkey dinner. But how do you make sure your turkey is the juiciest? This is important. Joining me this morning to talk about making the perfect brine, we have Chef Colleen Garcia with the Escoffier School of Culinary Arts. Thank you for joining me this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure.
You are the expert. I am so clueless when it comes to this. So I feel like I'm your perfect person to get this started. Let's talk about the basics if we're trying to brine our turkey.
Yeah, so turkey can be intimidating, right? But it doesn't have to be. So a brine is basically just a really great way for those lean proteins like poultry or even pork chops to stay nice and juicy when they're cooked. So what we want to start with here, we'll talk about a wet brine.
Okay.
And it could not be simpler. At its base, a wet brine is simply salt and water. That's all you need. And if you had nothing else, you would make a successful, beautiful, juicy bird.
Okay.
So for every gallon of water, you want about 1 cup of salt.
Okay.
And then I like to add, as you can see the color here, a little brown sugar. That's gonna help brown the skin.
Cool.
And then some aromatics. I have some bay leaf, some sage, some thyme. A little bit of lemon is okay, but you do want to avoid really acidic ingredients in general, or using something like, you know, an apple cider as a base.
Okay.
Because, you know, that's going to kind of partially cook the turkey like a ceviche, and it'll end up drier when you roast it.
Interesting.
So you want to avoid those ingredients.
And how, this might be a silly question, but we want to help people today, like people like me. Does the turkey need to be defrosted before we brine it?
It should be defrosted because it's really not going to start to absorb the brine the way you want it to until it's fully defrosted. So defrost your bird, and then you're going to want to brine it for anywhere from 12 to 24 hours depending on the size. So if you want to, we can go ahead.
For this size, what you said, we've got a 10-pounder. How long?
So a 10-pound bird, I'd say at least 12 hours. You could go up to 24, just remembering it's going to get saltier. But if you've got a 25, 35-pound bird in some cases, you definitely want to give it that full 24 hours. And so as you can see, kind of the downside here is this is going to take up a lot of space, right? Go ahead if you want to put it in the brine. You want to just get it fully submerged.
Okay.
So if you've got a smaller bird like this, another thing that I love to talk about are these brining bags. So this is just like a 2.5 gallon Ziploc bag. That's great for a smaller one. Or,
that would fit in there?
Yes,
oh my gosh,
believe it or not. But look, they make them all the way up to hold a 35
Oh my gosh, that's massive. Okay, perfect.
And what's great about that is you don't need nearly as much liquid. And you don't have to take up all that space in your refrigerator you might need for other things.
And you feel like that's just as effective?
Yes, absolutely, because it's going to get all that surface contact. You might want to rotate it halfway through the brining process.
And aside from, you know, clearing out what we need to clear out from the turkey before we're brining, what else are we doing before we are putting it in the brine?
So you really just want to make sure, again, you've taken out the giblets, everything that's inside, right? It's nice and defrosted, and that's really all you need to do.
Okay, simple. Okay, so this is like basically step 1 or 2 of the process.
Yes.
And then what are we getting into next, my friend?
So if you don't have the fridge space or you just don't want to deal with a wet brine, I love a dry brine. In fact, this is actually my favorite for a couple of reasons, because a dry brine is going to make sure that you don't get kind of a waterlogged turkey. And you just get still all that flavor. So what you want to do is you want to kind of work your fingers underneath the skin. Or you can use the back of a spoon if that freaks you out a little bit. And then a teaspoon of kosher salt per pound of turkey. And you're just going to rub it right into the meat.
Okay, great.
You want to really get the breast because that's the part that tends to dry out first.
This seems like it would take a while.
Yeah, it does. So this one, same thing.
You gotta have patience to make a turkey.
Same thing, 12 to 24 hours for this one, and I would leave it uncovered in the refrigerator. Because what that is gonna do is make sure the skin gets nice and dry, and that'll help get a crispy bird.
Fantastic. You have a few other tips for us to make sure that we have a successful turkey at home. Share with us a couple of those. We got like 30 seconds.
All right, so my kind of industry secret, which is not so much a secret anymore, is instead of using butter or oil on the outside of the turkey, use mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise?
It's gonna sound a little crazy, but you can take all of your herbs and spices and everything, mix it into the mayonnaise and rub it on top. Mayonnaise is just oil and egg yolk, which are 2 things that facilitate great browning in the oven. And it's gonna kind of hold on there for longer, so you don't need to open the oven and keep basting and let all that hot air out. Just rub it with that seasoned mayo, and it's gonna be nice and brown and crispy.
Easy peasy. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and happy Thanksgiving to you.